I've played a lot of games last year, mostly all of them are in the same genre, and lately I've been getting tired of competitive multiplayer esports games. Like, there's only so much Fortnite I can play before I launch my body off the nearest skyscraper. So I've been trying to play some more story-driven games lately, and Jesus bro, I love story games so much. Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, Portal, Far Cry 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, Dead Island 2. These games made my year for me. Even though I've already played Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 1, I like replaying them often because they're just so fucking good. So I thought, how about I just make a video glazing all the villains that I've liked this year? And I think we should start with the man himself, the G-Man. A mysterious figure that's caused major events in the Half-Life series. I wouldn't usually call the G-Man a villain, but I mean, this nigga's on some crazy fucking timing.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Not to mention that every major event was caused by him in the series. So yes, this man single-handedly has been the cause of billions of people dying in the series. Let's actually just get into the story of Half-Life, and I'm gonna simplify it to like the best of my ability. In Half-Life, we play as a scientist named Gordon Freeman who works at a research facility called Black Mesa. This facility was created to further the advancements of the United States in stuff like radiation, rocketry, theoretical physics, lasers, hydraulics, robotics, hydroelectricity, genetics, zoology, and it's also implied mathematics too, that makes sense. And on May 16th, in an unknown year, Black Mesa was going to conduct one of the most anticipating and potentially dangerous experiment yet, with this little crystal thing that they call Zen crystals. What is a Zen crystal, you ask? It's a crystal that comes from Zen. Use your fucking brain. Zen is basically just a border world, aka a place that connects different worlds or dimensions, and it's really popular with aliens. That's the place that they all chill out at. This crystal that they were testing with was a lot different than the other Zen crystals, mainly because it was stated to be the largest and most purest of them all. And this crystal was given to Black Mesa by yours truly, the G-Man. While Gordon is experimenting with the space rock, it ends in
Get away from the shutting down. No, attempt to shut down. It's not shutting down. It's not.
less than stellar results. Everybody is fucking dead. Trial 1. Letting the resonance cascade happen. It's kinda obvious that the G-Man knew that the resonance cascade might happen, aka what happened in this clip. This is a resonance cascade. And on top of this man did something fucking insane. Before Gordon pushes the Zen crystal in the funny big science machine, which indirectly causes the resonance cascade, this nigga G-Man whispers in Eli's ear, "Prepare for unforeseen consequences." And after the resonance cascade, the world as we knew it is basically over. Throughout the game, we obviously play as Gordon Freeman, and we kill aliens, HECU soldiers, which is basically just the military with extra steps. And then he fought a big space alien baby. I promise that makes sense if you actually played the game. But at the very end of Half-Life 1, Gordon Freeman gets kidnapped by the G-Man. And this whole conversation is, "Hey little nigga, I actually like the shit that you did here. I think we can work together." And that's basically it. And if Gordon doesn't jump through the portal that G-Man is showing him, well, he's obviously gonna die. No matter how badass Gordon Freeman is, I don't think he's over here gonna take on a whole army, okay? He is not Madara. It's just, he's gonna get folded, alright? So this nigga Gordon steps to the portal and he gets kidnapped for 20 years. He's held in stasis by the G-Man. In just the first game alone, this man is not only responsible for thousands of human lives, but hundreds of alien lives too. Just from one action. And that's not even the worst of it. Not only can this guy be charged with first-degree murder because he knew what his actions would lead to in the story, but he also committed crimes against humanity by being single-handedly responsible for nuking Black Mesa after the incident. In a sort of canon but also non-canon spin-off of Half-Life 1, Half-Life Opposing Force, which takes place during Half-Life 1, G-Man sets off a nuke that not only destroys Black Mesa, but kills everything and everyone in it. And again, this is only the first game alone. This man killed thousands and probably hundreds of thousands of people in just 48 hours. And on top of that, this man created a domino effect. Because the time between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2 is 20 years. So what happens throughout that 20 years? Because of the resonance cascade, these little ripples called portal storms started to spread throughout the entire planet, not only spawning foreign species from another dimension to Earth, but making earthquake and shockwave-like events spread throughout presumably the entire planet, because these portal storms were happening throughout the entire planet. We don't know how much people actually died from this, but we can assume it's probably hundreds of thousands, or highballing it to like a very extreme extent, probably millions. It did spread throughout the entire planet, so that's even more bodies that the G-Man racked up. And not to mention the invasion of the Combine, which is basically just space Yahtzees. I said Yahtzee, not the other word, Yahtzee. This empire killed who knows how many people, probably in the billions. Call these casualties involuntary or not, but this is very, very, very huge parts of the human population just gone. Even though it's really clear that he's against the Combine, he sure is willing to trade and use human lives for his cause. And not only that, he's willing to use Gordon like a rose toy for his plans. And on top of that, later in the series, this nigga uses Eli's daughter.
Not another Black Mesa.
Dad, prepare for unforeseen consequences.
What did you say?
Dad! Okay. It's okay. Just lean into me. Let's get you off your feet.
Thank you, baby. Unforeseen consequences. The last time I heard those words was back at Black Mesa. You had just stepped into the test chamber when he whispered them in my ear. Now he's using my little girl, putting words in her mouth. God damn it.
His own daughter as a vessel to give this nigga PTSD. Call this a warning or whatever, but this shit is just plain disrespectful. But not only that, but then this nigga Eli dies right after this. And the craziest part is that this isn't even the end of it, okay? Fast forward to Half-Life Alyx, which is a prequel to Half-Life 2, but we get a glimpse of the future of the Half-Life series. This nigga kidnaps Eli's daughter. We still don't know how he did this, okay? There's a lot of theories going around. How did this man kidnap a past version of Alyx? If we were... Oh my god. This don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. There's two theories. A, this man went back in time, which isn't really that credible actually now that I think about it. Or number two, he created a separate timeline where he goes back in time, kidnaps Alyx, and then goes forward in time and kidnaps Alyx again. I'm sorry, my brain is just not braining here, okay? And not only did this man kill Eli in the last game, but then he revived Eli. And then this man still got his daughter kidnapped from him. He just can't win. And then on top of that, in the ending of Half-Life Alyx, G-Man is standing in the background in secret, watching Eli freak out about his daughter getting kidnapped by G-Man. He's watching him. This nigga's so fucking tough. Not only is this man responsible for billions of people dying, but he also kidnapped the main character once and even attempted to do it again. And then he kidnapped Eli's daughter, past and present. Oh my gosh. G-Man's charges are mass murder, and if we really want to push it to that extent, genocide, okay? Yes, I'm bringing out the big G, genocide. And not only that, the levels of kidnapping that he's done is egregious. And if we want to stretch that to a certain extent, we can consider it as human trafficking. I mean, he did kidnap Gordon and was planning on using him for labor or doing jobs for him. Oh my god. And we're not gonna act like this is 100% consensual, cause it ain't. It was literally go with the G-Man or die. And with Alex, he just straight up used force. She literally said she wanted to go home. So the G-Man's murders are mass murder or genocide, kidnapping or human trafficking, and not gonna lie, this nigga is just straight up devious, okay? I mean, like, there's only so much I can really talk about. So let's go to the next villain.
Keep your hand on your gun. Don't you trust anyone.
Red Dead was a game that I had a lot of fun playing. I first tried to play Red Dead Redemption 2 a while ago back in 2022, but I thought it was boring because, well, chapter 1 of course. But last year I gave it a second chance and I loved basically every second of it. Red Dead Redemption 2 just has so many interesting and lovable characters, not to mention the villains like Micah. Micah is one of the gang members that we hang around basically all game. He's a very ruthless jackass throughout this game, ruthless and petty.
Down, you fat sack of crap! You man at Arthur. Hello, Manny. And something of mine. My gun.
And we see glimpses, how not even glimpses, just straight out him just being it throughout the entire story. There's no fucking glimpses. I don't really want to spoil this game too much, so I'm not going to go really too deep into details here. So if you haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2, you might want to skip this chapter, alright? Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Micah was the snake, the rat, the snitch throughout the entire game. I knew Micah was the snake to begin with because I got spoiled myself, but just knowing he was and knowing how much of a mess things were culminating into, it was a good experience in my opinion. And also Micah is a really skilled and experienced gunslinger.
Hey, hold up. This don't feel right. Now it don't feel right? I could have told you.
1, 2, 3 people killed in like the 5 seconds that Sean got killed. This nigga Micah bodied 3 people in like 4 or 5 seconds. Do I think that he could go toe to toe with a healthy Arthur in a fight? No, not at all. But I do think that he could have a standoff with him and probably win. Probably. Micah is not a slouch, and at the end of the day, he won. Say what you want, but between the whole game, he won. He got away alive for a little bit, and he became the main reason that Arthur dies in the story. And in the low honor ending, this man spits on Arthur when he's dead. Micah is just a straight demon with no regards of human life. He even said it himself, he's a survivor. Man, woman, and hell, if Rockstar allowed him to, probably children. And on top of that, this nigga died without a care in the world. When Micah dies, there is no pleading, there is no begging. All he tries to do is continue to fight, and when he realizes, oh shit, I'm dead, he just shrugs it off. He's like a nonchalant dreadhead in the Wild West. I just like the fact that instead of making Micah look like a weasel, Rockstar let him go down with some dignity, unlike a certain villain in the story. And then we get to Colm O'Driscoll. Jesus Christ, he's the only villain in the story that I hate with a burning fucking passion. Not only because he's just a sick, ruthless, crazed, and deranged man, but most of all, he's a coward. This whole thing really started to kick off with beef off screen. Apparently, Dutch killed Colm O'Driscoll's brother, so Colm killed Dutch's lover at the time. And because of this, these guys don't really like each other too much. Colm O'Driscoll does a lot of horrible things before and throughout the game, such as kidnapping Arthur, killing Sadie's husband, and also something else. This wasn't done by Colm O'Driscoll, but one of his gang members, so I'm also gonna blame him for it. This is a little bit of a fan theory, but it's kind of implied, well, even confirmed. I don't really like talking about this. I hate this. It's kind of confirmed or implied in an interview. I'm saying kinda because I didn't watch this interview. Just a lot of people said that it happened in the interview, that Sadie Adler had not good things done to her by the O'Driscoll gang members who killed her husband. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. All of this links back to Colm and is also one of the reasons why I don't like him. I'm not the type to adamantly hate villains for doing bad things, but I hate him because he's a fucking coward. And in the mission Goodbye Dear Friend, we see this cowardness take center stage. When we first see Colm get on the stage, he has more of a heckler type mindset. He's obviously not scared because he thinks he's gonna get bailed out this time. And when I say bailed out, I mean that his men are gonna, stop him from being executed. He's not remorseful at all. And hell, he's proud, he's chanting, "I've been a bad man." But that whole demeanor and attitude changes as soon as he realizes, wait, who the fuck is that? He becomes a lot more worried as soon as he realizes that all of his escape plans have been stopped. He looks around more rapidly, his breaths become more erratic. And honestly, I think that this is the best portrayal of panic and fear in a motion captured video game. It's almost like he can't even believe what he's seeing. And then Colm is dead. When I first played through this, I did kind of feel bad, mainly because of how well the scene was shot and how gripping the emotions and the facial expressions are. But now that I think about it, this man 100,000% deserved everything that ever happened to him. And also remember what this nigga did to Kieran. This man beheaded him and plucked his eyes out. This man deserved it. He 100% deserved it, and he wasn't remorseful at all. He was only remorseful when his get out of jail free card got revoked. Mr. Electric, send this nigga to the penis explosion chamber and have his penis exploded immediately. Far Cry 5 is a game that I started to play this year, just being bored on Game Pass, and I heard a lot about the Far Cry series and Voss. So I decided, hey, how about I just play Far Cry 5? And wow, this shit means something to me, man. Of course, I don't want to spoil the entire game, but damn, this game is so much fucking fun. The open world, the characters, the enemies, the AI, the villains, the gameplay. I love almost everything about this game. Not to mention Far Cry Arcade. The villains in this game are amazing. Joseph, John, Jacob, Faith. Just, oh my god. Mwah. And this game really does have you question if you're the good guy in this scenario. You know it's bad when the villains are out here saying that your sin is wrath. Again, I'm not going to spoil too much about this game, like not a lot. I'm only going to mention Joseph because the 3 other villains are stories in for themselves. Just want you to know which one is my favorite, John, Jacob, or Faith. Maybe John or Jacob. Like John or Jacob is really getting up there. But maybe Jacob because he really does go against the whole gaming philosophy. Did I say philosophy? Philosophy of shoot first, ask questions later. He really does take advantage of that perfectly well. Just play the goddamn game, bro. But just for now, we're gonna talk about Joseph because he's the main villain. And chances are, even if you haven't played Far Cry 5, You know who Joseph Seed is. You've probably seen him in memes and stuff like that. Release me! Release me! So Joseph Seed is the head of the organization, Eden's Gate. We first meet Joseph in the beginning of the game. We're supposed to arrest him for suspicion of kidnapping with intent to harm. While doing this, the game gives us our first choice: walk away and don't continue the game, or arrest him and let all hell break loose. Fucking course, if you want to actually play the game, you arrest him. The craziest part about this is that the only good ending in the game is the ending where you don't engage. But if you do arrest him, all shit breaks loose. This whole stick of Joseph acting like a prophet goes on for like the entire game, until we finally meet him in the end of the game where we kill all 3 of his siblings and he starts fucking tweaking. My family, my brothers, my sisters, they've been taken from me by a snake in the garden. I thought I knew God's plan. This whole thing escalates to the point where we're fighting Joseph while we're tripping on something that starts with a D and ends with rugs. Finally, we beat him, and he tries to go back to do the stoic shit, like basically, they don't know what they're doing. I'm the only one who knows the truth type thing. Acting like he wasn't tweaking like a couple scenes ago, bro. And right when we finally arrest him,
Tactical nuke incoming! What the fuck?
Hope County gets nuked, presumably out of nowhere. And the first time that I saw this scene, I was like, what the fuck? Cause this came out of nowhere. And you'd think that, but this actually makes sense. The game actually explains the situation pretty well and discreetly. If you just pay attention to the dialogue and the world around you, you can hear that global tensions are rising at an actual alarming and realistic way. And all of the tension reached a climax during the end of the game, explaining the nukes. This also explains how Joseph and the rest of his siblings took over Hope County so easily. The world was on the brink of bursting anyways, and the United States had a lot more things to deal with internationally. Not to mention that this whole collapse thing keeps being mentioned throughout the game. The nukes dropping was just a cherry on top to the entire story, honestly, because it's something that you really wouldn't have noticed if you just weren't paying attention. But of course, the game doesn't end here. We try to escape the bombs dropping, but that just leads to all of our cop and marshal friends dying in a car crash, and somehow the only 2 survivors are us and Joseph. Amazing. Joseph then grabs our unconscious body, kills one of our other friends, and then locks us in a bunker with him. And this happens while the world is presumably getting destroyed all around us. I'm sorry if I couldn't explain this game well, but trust me, Far Cry 5 is really good, and if you pick up the game and give it a chance, you'll end up probably really liking it. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you think I described this game or explained it terribly, just pick up the game and play it. I promise you, 69-70% chance that you won't regret it. It's even free on Xbox Game Pass. In conclusion, that's really all the video game villains that I actually like. Hell, if you guys have some game suggestions, just suggest it and I'll probably play it. I'm sorry, it's like almost 2 a.m. in the morning, I'm kinda tired. But yes, I do be reading comments, so if you guys have a game and you guys want me to play it, just comment it and I'll give it a chance. So thanks for watching the video if you made it this far, honestly, and subscribe if you want. Matter of fact, subscribe right now. This is not a democracy. This is a dictatorship, okay? What I say, go. If I say subscribe to my channel, you're gonna subscribe, okay? And if you don't, I'll just IP log you, bro. It's not that hard.